Joe,
Yes, let me turn my camera on.
I like that photo, and I like your shirt as well.
Yeah,
How are you?
I'm good. You?
I'm super good and super happy to be talking to you again.
So, how's the sound quality? Is it good?
Yeah, it's super good. Super good.
Perfect.
So, Joe, before we start, let me say just we are already recording because like those chit chatting that we have before the real talk.
Okay.
It always comes something interesting out of it. Let me just explain to you how this what I'm calling season 2 of our podcast will be like. So the first season that we launched last year was just me and the finishers talking, and it was pretty cool. But now for this season, I decided that I want and because when we I interview the all those finishers from last year, I saw that they were really inspiring. But I have never saw the opportunity or had the opportunity to see the inspiration live. So that's why for this season, I'm always inviting a finisher and a friend of mine. So that's why you're seeing Enrique. Henrique
Okay.
is a great friend of mine from Brazil. He's also a triathlete, a marathonist, sports lover. He works for we know each other because we used to work together for the same company for more than 10 years. And when I told your story, he said, "Oh, can I join the conversation?" Because as I like to say, this is not an interview because I'm not an interviewer, so I'm not a journalist. I just like to know people, and I love your story, and I want to more people to know it. And Henrique said, "Oh, can I join? Because I had some. I want to know those type of people, as he's a triathlete himself. So that's why he's here with us today."
Perfect. That's great. Nice to meet
So
you.
Yeah, man. It's a pleasure to be here. So thanks again, Samir, and thanks you, Jill. Well, maybe the first question I'll make, and maybe the only one, is how do we pronounce your name correctly? Gilles? Gilles?
In French, Gilles.
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 Gilles Villeneuve is. Uh, this is the Gilles I knew before. So Gilles, a
Gilles
pleasure to
Villeneuve,
be.
yes. Gilles
Yeah,
Villeneuve,
Gilles,
yes.
is he Canadian? He's Canadian, right?
Of course he is. Come
Of
on.
course.
So yeah, no, I'm thrilled to be here. I don't want to get in the way of your conversation, guys. I was in your position last night. I was interviewed by a podcaster as well, by a YouTuber, and one of her question was, "What are your idols on the sport?" And I said, "My idols are not the fastest, the famous ones. My idols are the ones that inspire me, and the more beautiful their story are, these people become my idols in the sport." And when Samir told me a little bit about you, I said, "Man, this Jill is potentially one of my new idols on the sport." So thanks to that, I promise not to get in the way of the conversation. Maybe I'm gonna make some comments here and there and ask you some things. I don't know, but I'm thrilled to be here. Thanks Samir, and thanks Jill.
Perfect.
So, Joe, how does it look like 2 months? I saw a video of you saying that you are retired now after 44 years. No,
Well, 42 years
42 years.
yeah. So I retired for 1 week. Then I took a contract for 90 days because they haven't found my replacement yet.
Uh-huh.
And because the role that I've played over the last 2 years is an ombudsman for mental health and well-being,
Mhm.
helping government employees in different departments that are having issues with workplace and their life and all of this stuff to bring them support. Because they had not found my replacement, I told my boss, I said, look, I'll go to retirement for a week, then I'll come back on a contract for 90 days until you find my replacement so that we can offer the service to the people that are in need. And to me, that's more important. That's what my passion is in life anyway, is helping people. So I'm doing that. For me, it's not really a job. It's what I love, and it's fun to do. So, and I know that I'm having impact with people that I'm helping. So
Well,
it's
and these people you help, Jill, is you have like a shrink patient relationship or like long-term relationship with these people, or?
No, it's more a coaching approach. So I'm a certified coach with International Coach Federation, and so I help people basically take stock of where they're at. Okay. You know, because when they're calling me, they're usually, you know, the relationship's not going well with a colleague or a boss, or they're having issues with employees. You know, so I get to really the heart of what do they truly want in that particular situation. So it's one thing to know that you don't like you think the relationship with your boss is toxic. Mm-hmm. Okay, how would you like it to be? Well, you would like it to be healthy, respectful, and safe. Okay, so what does that mean for you? Now, from where you're at today to this next place, okay, so the end of the race, basically, or your journey, what are the steps that we can put in place together that you can action? Because I'm not going to do it for you. It's your issue. It's your life. So how are you going to be actioning these different items in order to get to that state of well-being that you want to have with your boss, for example? So it may mean that you have to self-reflect on who you are, your capacity, your level of energy, and how much you can give to work, for example. So how much can you give in this relationship with your boss? Okay. And know that for yourself so that you can respect yourself by setting certain limits. I go with the approach that we all have 100 units of energy per day. Okay. If you take 10 or 15 units for yourself, you take 10 or 15 for your family, your community, the other responsibilities you have in your life, then perhaps you only have 70 to invest in work. Well, with 70, you cannot create 100. So if your boss is asking you to produce 100 widgets, with 70, you'll never meet his targets, and you will always feel bad, and you will always trying to do more and take away from your community responsibility or your family responsibility, looking after yourself, exercising, eating right, sleeping, and all of this stuff. You'll reduce yourself in order to produce 80 or 85, and then eventually you will be unhealthy, unhappy, not well. So if you want your boss to respect you, you have to start by knowing yourself, knowing how much energy you have, setting your limits, and then respecting that yourself. If you don't respect yourself, nobody else will. So it's in a nutshell, that's what I do with people. And sometimes it's 1, 2, or 3 conversation. Okay. And sometimes I'll facilitate discussions with their manager or their colleagues that they're having issues with. So it's really, really a lot of fun because people actually become conscious of the power that they have on their own well-being, their happiness, and their mental health.
And you do this for government or for private companies? That I didn't understand.
No, this is for government in Canada. So I worked my first 37 years in government. I was a Royal Canadian Mounted Police. So the guys and girls with red tunics, never had a horse. Okay, we had actually police cars, and so during that career in Canada, like I worked mainly in the Atlantic, like New Brunswick, and then to the training academy, and then in Ottawa, our national capital, where I did media relations, worked on some movies and things like that, and then in human resources. Basically, my focus on helping people was very, very important. And so that's where my love for helping people came, basically serving Canadians. So when I retired from the RCMP, I joined because I was a police officer, I joined as a public servant, as a government employee to help other government employees, feeling better in their workplace.
Nice. And you work in the government in every level, and like federal, government, municipality. I don't know how government structure works in Canada, but you work abroad all The government.
For me, it's the federal government. So it's all the federal departments, you know, whether it's infrastructure, the space
Economy, health,
you know, all of those types of offices and stuff. That's who I help right now.
And I'm curious. Last year, due to these shitty times we're living, the pandemic and everything, did you notice an increase in people seeking you for dealing with mental health and mental disturb because of the pandemic? How home office affected your work?
Well, there has been an increase, and what we saw is mainly around the fact that, you know, people were teleworking, no longer in the office, where, you know, if you work in the office, although it's not fun to drive into the office and back and all of this stuff, you have a separation between home life and work.
Sure.
And the fact that people are working from home, some of them on their kitchen table, you know, not having a dedicated office. So always seeing the computer on the table, even before breakfast, after supper at night, you're always thinking about work. And the having to balance the family or the home responsibility with parents being sick and all of this stuff, you know, because in Canada, we had a lot of elderly people, you know, get sick and die and stuff in homes. So all of that pressure, plus on top of trying to perform at the same level as pre-pandemic in your home environment, where you have to do homeschooling of the kids because the schools are shut down and all of this stuff, that's where all the pressure came. And that's why when I was talking about the 100 units of energy, it's not because there's a pandemic that you have 115 or 120. You still have 100. Where are you going to invest? And if because you have 2 kids doing homeschooling, you may be investing 40 units at home, and there's less for work. You have to be able to know that, identify that, and communicate it. And that's what we worked on for the past year. Like, there was one recommendation in my annual report this year. It was self-respect. You know, in order to bring back that balance, when times are changing, because they are changing, you know, you have to maintain that if you want to stay healthy.
Your own boundaries, right? Gilles, let me ask you something. You said this is what you love doing. This is very related to your passion in life. I almost take that the 90-day contract that you signed was almost like a treat for you, because you had an extension of doing the thing, of keep doing the thing you love. My question is, maybe, how are you going to fulfill that after this 90 days? Are you going to propose another 90 days, another 90 days, another 9 months? I don't know. How are you going to fulfill this? I love helping Canadians and people. How are you going to fulfill that?
Yeah, so I'm very, very conscious of that. And, you know, so there's many facets to it, okay? So when I was younger, before I joined the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, my mother used to say that I never finished what I started, okay? And that's always stayed in the back of my mind. So normally in Canada, when you work for government, after 35 years, you're done. You've completed it. So when I did 37 years with the RCMP, I actually went to the cemetery and I went to visit my mother, because, you know, she's passed away, you know, about 20 years ago. And I brought a little can of Coke, because she used to drink little cans of Coke when she was alive. And I went to see her, and I knelt down in front of the tombstone, and I said, "Mom, okay, I think I've finished this one. I've gone 37 years when I was supposed to go 35. So I drank a little bit of Coke. I poured a little bit of Coke on the grass so that she would get it as well. And I said, I think that part of me is done, you know, with that career. And that's where I transitioned, because I wanted to become a public servant. I wanted to see, not only from the perception of a police officer for 37 years, but now from a public servant. You know, I like to serve. And So I did that. Now, with the end of that 5 years in retirement, this contract, to me, it's a nice way to transition, to kind of let go of that formal, secure role. And now, because I live in Mont-Tremblant, Quebec, so, you know, there's an Ironman and a half Ironman here, and the community here, like there's ski, you know, there's a good ski resort. It's a paradise for people that are active. But, you know, like there are people on the mountain.
I'm buying my flight right now here.
Yeah. So there are people on the mountain in the winter, for example, where you have the yellow jacket with a big question mark. So you're guiding people on the hills and stuff, or there's all kinds of things to become involved. So, and I've started to work with a local triathlon club here, where, you know, I'm you know, teaching, I'm doing the rides, the Saturday morning rides. And then in the winter, I did, during the pandemic, I did like all Saturday morning, 2 hours on Zwift and Zoom to basically get into the community here and transport the coaching aspect to sport coaching, but in the spirit of developing a pro bono, like not for money, but a pro bono coaching, life coaching aspect, and executive coaching as well. So I will continue to do that, you know, post that contract for 90 days, because I love helping people achieve their goals. And it keeps me also very engaged towards being able to complete my goals. So very, very, you know, to me, it's important to stay engaged.
Connected, to your passions, to what anchors you to your passion.
It's interesting to hear you saying that your mom used to call you that you're a person that never finished what it started. When the image that I have from you, it's one of the most resilient person I've ever met, because of your story with Patogonman. It was not easy for you, starting in 2000 in a registration in 2018 to the finish line in 2019, and not just because of this story with your father, but because of the airlines losing your bike, your seat post, broken seat post, and besides everything, you went out and you finished. And so I really can, something changed in you along your, I mean, in your life, that your mom was right, because, you know, moms are always right. What did you do? Or did you change? Did you learn? Or it's just something that she liked to talk and to get with you about it?
So I think that, you know, her perception was perhaps not the perception of the right perception of who I was. And I remember during basic training when I was 19 years old, at the training is 6 months to become a police officer at the training academy. And at 3 months, I wanted to quit. And my mother said, "You're not a quitter. You will finish this." And from that day on, everything that I undertook, I finished, you know, and unless an injury was, you know, as far as sports are concerned and stuff, but like it's something where, no, you're doing this. And even when, you know, you have self-doubt, like we all have in these long events and all of this, it's you know, the internal language is positive. It's like, you're getting this done. You know, you've got the support around you. You know that you've got the commitment inside of you to get these things done. You're not the fastest. You're not going to win any races. You're doing this for yourself, and you're doing this to basically go see the limits and go to the limit. And to me, that's what's key in here. And that's where I learned also that it's by living it and not just talking about it, but actually doing it, to say, look, it's one step at a time, keep moving forward, you know, look ahead in life and look ahead on a journey, you know, whether it's an extreme or an Ironman or a race, you know, an ultra or whatever, look ahead. You know, the rear view mirror in a car is about this big. The windshield is a lot bigger. And there's a reason for that. Look forward. Don't look back. Check in the back once in a while, but look forward. So that's what I do. You know, I don't try to do. That's what I do, because trying is not. You know, Nike doesn't have just try it. It says just do it.
Yeah, for a reason, for a good reason. And Gilles, you were 19 years old when you said, "Okay, I'm not quitting anything else in my life." What was the role of endurance sports after that point? So were you already doing endurance sports at that time? So, or did it come later in life for you? Did you use that as a tool, as a mean to prove that I'm gonna finish stuff, and maybe endurance sports is a way of me showing that I can do whatever I want to. I'm not gonna try to do anything. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the Ironman. So when did endurance sports get into your life in this sense?
So it was more later in life, because when I was 19, you know, of course, at the training academy, did a lot of running, swimming. There was no biking then, but you know, like, so to get in shape to become a police officer. Then I went to my first posting, you know, and then, you know, got married, got kids. So where the focus was working and family. So was not exercising a whole lot, gained weight. And, you know, I went from, I graduated at 178 pounds, you know, 6'2", 178 pounds. So I was like this big to, you know, 210, 220, 230, you know, I've been up to 272
Whoa.
in weight. Okay. So, but in my second relationship, when I went to work in Kosovo for a year for the UN, when I came back, my spouse at the time basically found that I was taking too much space in the house. I was there in the morning for the kids. I was there after supper, you know, looking after the kids and homework and all of this stuff. But she had been alone with her two kids for a year. And now she had this guy in there kind of taking too much space. So she basically said, you know, like, find yourself something to do. So I joined a cross-country ski group. So starting to take lesson. And then from winter to spring, then it turned into a running group. And then from there, you know, started doing 10Ks, half marathon, you know, running a marathon.
You were what age at this time? Around
this is 40
something.
Yeah, 40 years old. That's that, about 20 years ago. You know, so started running and you know, back at skiing, and then and even before that, though, like it wasn't organized or anything like that. But my first marriage, after 14 years of marriage, you know, my wife was from the eastern provinces in New Brunswick, where my first posting was. And so she went to visit her family with the kids. And I said, just drop me off here in a part of Quebec, and I'll cycle to, you know, to your house, to your family's house in New Brunswick. So just to give you, it's 1,000 kilometers. So I had my bike with the, you know, the bags in front and the back and all my camping gear and all of this stuff. But, you know, the most I'd ever biked was about 20 kilometers, if that. So she dropped me off, and then it's the Gaspé area of Quebec. So very, very beautiful, scenic along the St. Lawrence River. But there's, you know, like there's a lot of climbing. There's, you know, just about as much as Patogonman. And there's some very, very long hills and stuff. And I remember, you know, the second day that I was riding, I hit train tracks and my bags unhooked, broke my rear derailleur and front derailleur. So I ended up on the big crank in the front, the small sprocket in the back,
like a fixie bike.
Here, okay, and of course, you know, trying to, okay, so how am I going to do this? So, and you know, this was pre-cell phone, pre all of that stuff. Okay, so I kept on biking all the long hills. I had to walk them because
Sure.
there was no way, and then going down all of this, and two small towns, there was a bike shop. They can't do anything to fix it. So basically, I biked most of the 1,000 kilometers on the big gear.
On a single gear and the big gear. Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. So, and when I got to my wife's family and stuff, I was so proud. I was there 2 days earlier than predicted and stuff. And she said, "What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here for 2 days."
That's the prize you get. That's the prize you get.
Maybe this is something that, okay, I'm going to switch gears truly in life. And that's when that relationship kind of went sideways. And so in the second relationship, that's where I found, the skiing, running group and all of this stuff, which turned into doing marathons. And through that group, evolving over the years, and this is like in 2011, second separation after 16 years. And now in my running group, my buddy says, "Oh, I'm going to Lake Placid to be a volunteer for Ironman so that I can register for next year." He says, "You want to come?" So, okay, yeah. What's an Ironman? What are the distance? Like what? Okay, so I don't know anything about it. So okay, let's go. And
my wife gonna be at the finish line, say I'm too early for that, or what?
Yeah.
Right.
So exactly, and now I'm into a separation, a divorce, and all of this stuff. So I'm going with my buddy Mark, his wife, and her cousin. Her cousin is Michelle, my current wife. And so we go to be volunteers, and at the end of the evening, Michelle is not a volunteer with us. She's at the finish line. Mm-hmm. And when we find her, she is just radiant because she saw all the finishers of the Ironman. And she is pumped. And like, all I can see is this woman with all the light radiating around her. And then I tell my buddy Mark, I said, "Mark, I'm getting up with you at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'm signing up for an Ironman." Oh. I had never done a triathlon. So in July 2011, I signed up for July 2012. Basically did a try a couple of weeks later. The only try that I won, because I was like probably the only one in that category. And then I did a half in September. And then the following year, I did my first Ironman in Lake Placid. So it's truly there that I found the enjoyment and the passion for the long distance things. Like I'm a big guy, so it takes me time to get warmed up and to get into the groove and stuff. So and it's truly at that point I said, okay, I'm doing this. And then from the Ironman to, Oh, Canada Man is coming around. What's Canada Man? Okay, so first extreme, so did Canada Man twice. Really, really enjoyed and loved the atmosphere of smaller races, mm-hmm. where you're really in contact with the other, because you're always kind of passing the same support crews and stuff. You've got your own support, but like that family community aspect of an extreme race is just beautiful, So that's where I got the nudge to do these long distance things.
Gilles, I wonder what's going to be the next woman in your life, the next female that's going to be a milestone, because your mom played a really important role at what you have become. And then years later, you see this beautiful, enlightened woman, Michelle, that put you to sign up for an Ironman. And I don't know if you have daughters or granddaughters, but maybe a granddaughter or grand-granddaughter is perhaps gonna change your life one more time, man. This is amazing relationship you have with this woman in your life, man. And also your ex-wife played an important role in your life as well, like saying you were too early. That made you change chapters.
For sure, and I can tell you that Michelle is the one, because 10 years into this relationship, she is still radiating and always has that light, you know, and she had it at Patogonman, you know, like when she was talking to my dad the entire way she was driving and supporting me through the S's there, you know, on the bike and stuff, you know, she was telling my dad to basically like, look, take care of him in every curve and all of this stuff, you know, and she still is there. And it's such, you know, it's energy that is truly there, you know. And although I don't have any granddaughter, you know, I do have a daughter and I've got a son and my 2 grandkids. You know, my grandkids now are, you know, since they came and they finished the Canada Man with me 2 years ago in 2019. Cool. And they ran the last 500 meters with me and stuff. And since then, they are out on trails. They're out in the woods every weekend, you know, with mom and dad. And last year, the last fall, they came here in Mont Tremblant, and you know, the climb to the mountain is 635 meters from bottom to up. You know, so it's and if you go in a straight line, it's a good hike. It's 2.8 kilometers, so it's good incline. We did it on the Saturday morning with the 2 kids. You know, there were 11 and 9 at the time, and we did it like in I think it's 59 minutes. You know, so as we got to the top, you know, the youngest one, he says, "Granddad, let's come back tomorrow. I want to beat my record."
Nice.
So the next day we were there and we beat it by 6 minutes.
Nice.
You know, and just
miles away from you, and I want to beat my record just by this 30 minutes talking to you. Imagine your grandson like living
exactly.
with you.
So it's a lot of fun to see, you know, this passing it on and sharing. And my daughter is actually, you know, she lived in Montreal. She's actually moving in a couple of days, about 20 minutes away from here, so that she can be in the trails, in the woods, and live that life of, you know, being outdoors and enjoying nature and also, you know, staying healthy through it while exercising and stuff. So, you know, and I also, before I did the Ironmans and stuff, you know, I did some mountain climbing a little bit. You know, I did Kilimanjaro, I did Aconcagua, a couple of mountains in Argentina. So of course, when Patogonman, you know, came up, it was like, I need to go to that area on the planet. I want to go see Chile and see, you know, what it's like. And I must say that previous to going to Patogonman, you know, eating salmon, we of course we've got salmon in Canada, Atlantic salmon. And, you know, anytime my wife would come back with, you know, salmon from Chile, he said, well, come on, you know, like, let's buy Canadian salmon. But nowadays, well, if it's Chile, okay, cool. Eating a little bit of Patogonman, and, you know, we're supporting the sponsors and stuff. Yeah, it's okay. It's good. You know, so it's kind of nice.
And when you, it was your first time in Patagonia, right? In Chile, I know it was your first time in Patagonia as well. It was, when I see some footage from Canada and from the same part, talking about latitude, but from the north, and I see a lot of similarity with Patagonia, with the images, with the landscapes, some part of it as well. It was something as you have imagined, or you were completely surprised with what you found in Patagonia?
Well, it was you know, it's not like the Rockies, you know, like the Rockies out west, like, you know, because I lived out west. It's more, I don't know, it's different. Like Patagonia is really unique because yes, you've got the mountains, but you also have the you know, like great spaces, you know. And of course, in December, everything was green and still having the snow caps and stuff. So like it was, and the week after Patagonman, like we did, you know, a week exploring, you know, the glaciers and all of that stuff, and doing around the lake there. And it was just like every day was like, wow, you know, and to this day, like these pictures that we took, you know, are on our phones or on our camera and on our computers, you know, and they keep popping up every morning when you open up the computer. It's a different one. It's like, oh, wow. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes. Oh, you know, and every friggin' day, you guys keep posting stuff on Instagram and all of this, you know what I'm saying? Come on, stop it. You know, like, no, I can't go back every year, you know, like I want to go other places, but like it's and the people, you know, of course, you guys, the organizers and stuff, like the reception, the human aspect was so great, you know, and the welcoming was tremendous. So really for me, it was a life event. Very, very impactful, and it's always going to stay with me for sure.
Nice. And I think that's the beauty of this, as you said, these smaller events, as any other X-Tri World Tour race, that you have just 200, 250 athletes in the field. Those kind of races allow you to really meet new people, not just other athletes, but the organizers and the community where the race is. And I think you can absorb a little bit of the culture about the way, and get to know. But I understand when you say I want to come back every year, but I have other places to know. I want to know other places, and I would love to have you here every year, but I truly understand the need and what. And this thing that I can live this kind of experience, I can meet new people in such amazing places in the world. So that's the same thing I love about this smaller field races.
Let me ask you, Samir, and you, Gilles, the same question, because maybe you have complementing answers for this one. I've made some triathlons, some marathons, but there are big events, there are Ironman events, there are marathons that are known by everyone. I've never done, or I've never been to an extreme race, and I really, and I think this people who do that, they are just a little bit different from others. And Samir, you've met some of them here in the After the Bell and during the preparation of Patogonman. Gilles has met so many people in his life. What do you think? Of course, people have different life stories, but do you guys think that what do these 250 people you meet in Patogonman, for example, have in common, different from a 10K race that you race here on the road, or a half marathon that you? So what do these people have in common in terms of human truth, or what connects them in this sense? I really wonder what difference do these people have from me, or from ordinary others, or are these normal people that just put themselves into something and put challenges like Gilles were saying before? I don't know. I'm really curious about that. Maybe this is for the two of you.
Yeah, so I think that we're all unique. We know that. And we all have our reasons. I can only speak for myself. It's like, I love that moment of craziness. Okay, whenever you sign up for an event, some people will reflect, they'll think, they'll analyze the course and all of this stuff, and take weeks, months before they sign up with something. For myself, it's like, I see something, I register, then I think, because it allows me to be crazy about life. So there's three, like, I've got three lines in my hand. It's not because I read palm or anything like that, but like it's a concept. There's three things that I want to be me for me. Okay. So the first line is harmony. I want to feel that I'm in sync. I'm in harmony with myself. So anytime that anything in here is bubbling or anything like that, I ask myself the question, okay, what is it? I need to address it to bring back harmony here. Okay. The second line, I want to be free. For me, that's at the center of my life. I want to feel free. And the third one is, in French, it's un fou de la vie, to be crazy about life. Okay. So when I sign up for Patogonman, or when I signed up to do Kilimanjaro when I was afraid of heights, okay? I was afraid of heights. And I signed up just like that. On the Wednesday night, my daughter brought me to IMAX Theater to see Kilimanjaro, the movie, a documentary. Mm-hmm. And I left there and I said, oh my God, I would never be able to do this, la, 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 la. That's on the Wednesday. On the Saturday morning in the running group, I'm running with a guy and he says, oh, the hospital foundation is organizing a fundraiser and they're going to go climb Kilimanjaro. I said, I'm in. He said, no. He says they haven't
literally 24 hours later.
All of this stuff, they haven't decided, blah, blah, blah. He said, I think you need to raise like $5,000 and you need to pay your own way and all of. I said, no, I said, I'm in. The rest we'll figure out later, So that moment, when I sign up for these things, that's the crazy about life moment. And the fact that these three things are inside my hand, and then I look at every finger representing a role that I have in life, whether it's a father, a husband, a boss at work, or an athlete or whatever. Every role has three lines on. If you look at your finger, you've got three lines. You can decide the three things you want to be you for you, while you're doing this role. And when you take all of these things, they're always in your hand, you can bring it back and form a fist. And all of these roles come back to the center and it's very, very powerful. When you make a fist, it's almost indestructible and it's always here. And you always know that you can be focused on these things here. This is who I want to be. So when you're making decisions, when you're facing adversity, you're facing something in life, you can always come back to the things that you want to be and deal with it and fix it. So for me, signing up for races like this, Crazy About Life, it supports that desire of wanting to be who I want to be. It's you sent me the invite for this podcast. Who am I to be doing a podcast with you?
My new idol, I'd say. For starters, my new idol.
I can list like 10 things that you said just in the past 40 minutes, and to answer you that why you need to be here.
But the thing is that you send the email. Of course, I'll do it. And then I said, okay, why am I doing this again? So
Crazy About Life. What is this in French again? What is this in French?
Un fou de la vie.
Un fou de la vie.
Un fou de la vie. So the court, in English it would be the court gesture. I think that there's the king, and then there's that guy with the bells and things on his head. So I don't know how you say it in Spanish or in
Portuguese.
In Portuguese, but crazy about life. That's who the court gesture basically is in my own life. So. And that's what I love about this. It's like, I don't know how this thing was going to go this morning. Hey, take a risk. And so to answer your question in a long-winded way, I think that a lot of people that do these extreme races, they just want to get out of that comfort zone. We live pretty good lives. The majority of people that do these things, have pretty good lives. And we need that adversity. We need to stretch ourselves to kind of get back to the root of being a human being and truly testing our limits and stuff. Like last year, I signed up for Harricana, which is 125K ultra marathon. And longest distance I had done was 40 or 42, 44. 44 in
Patogonman.
Not 42, guys. It's 44.
Let's keep it. Let's just keep it under here.
I didn't know that. I was about to sign up for the next year. Now I'm gonna think. I'm not un fou de la vie too much like this.
The last two is easy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But, you know, so last year, you know, got an injury through the race and all of this stuff. I had to stop at 62. Well, I signed up again this year, you know, because everything else is canceled anyway. So, and it's going to be, but now they changed the time. It's going to be 12 hours of part of the race. We've got 27 hours, I think, to complete it, but 12 hours will be in the dark.
Whoa.
You know, and it's in the back country of Quebec. It's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful area. But, you know, you could have bears, moose, whatever, you know.
During the night. Yeah.
And again, it's not a big race. It's 150 or 200 people. So you'll be by yourself during those 12 hours in the dark.
And you have to unsupported, or they provide some kind of support, just checkpoints?
There's support every 15 or between 15 and 20K roughly. Mm-hmm. But, you know, like, when you're in the backwoods, truly, it's truly backwoods. But it's a beautiful area of Quebec, so it's gonna be fun.
Well, you'll feel free.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Nice.
Samir, do you think this food de la vie is in common with the other people you met?
For sure. I think the thing that I see that all the people that I've met through this journey, that they have in common is this. Now we have a term for it. It's food de la vie. But
we are totally mispronouncing for sure.
Totally mispronouncing. But the passion for who they are. Like, I want to be with me so much that I will spend 15 hours doing whatever I can just to feel the real me. So I see it's a seek for connection, or to someone you love, that is yourself, or a seek to who you are. So it's I see people that are really really self-secure about them, and they are doing this to strengthen this inner connection. But I also see people that are seeking their true connection. And they are putting themselves through endurance sports, to suffering, to all this kind of thing, to try to figure out who they are, who they want. Maybe sometimes, and those are I would not say the quitters, but the people that quit easier is the ones that are doing it to prove something for someone. And you have a portion of it. Like, it's a minor percentage of people that goes to extreme triathlons, because you have a funnel. So you start with those big races, Ironman and whatever, then you have a higher percentage of quitters. When you go to extreme, you have some people that are doing this to prove something to others. Usually they didn't succeed. They don't succeed. Mm-hmm. But the majority, I see it's people seeking for connection with nature, with themselves. It's almost transcendental. So, you know, it's something you cannot explain.
Gilles, have you ever used on your coach sessions, since you are a sports lover, outdoors lover, have you suggested or used sports as a way up for that person to connect with themselves, like connecting to what Samir just said? People are seeking to find themselves, their inner selves. Do you use that? Do you like suggest or make people at least think about it when you're dealing and trying to help them?
Oh, absolutely, because like it's you know, and it goes from the basic of, you know, taking a mindfulness walk, for example, just getting out of the home or the office or whatever, finding time for yourself, and then 15 minutes, go out there and just walk, and not with music, not with your cell phone, 15 minutes where you're actually just connecting to your five senses, you know, feeling your feet, whether it's on pavement, on grass, on rocks, or whatever, feeling your contact with earth, feeling the wind in your face, or the sun, or the rain, doesn't matter the weather, hearing the sounds that are surrounding you, smelling, tasting. So, you know, sometimes you can taste almost the air, or you can taste, okay, my saliva is changing, like, you know, because like I'm breathing a little bit more because I'm walking a little bit faster or whatever. And then going from there to making sure that each and every day, you know, you take some time to oxygenate yourself, to move, to action, you know, 5, 10, 15 minutes. You don't have, and I tell them, you don't have to run a marathon. You don't have to go climb mountains and stuff. If you can get there eventually, that's your goal, perfect. But just to be putting yourself in action so that you can let this big piece that we have above our shoulder kind of take a break from all the busy stuff and all the ideas and stuff you have in there. And when you're doing this consciousness walk, mindfulness walk, your ideas will float out. You will think of other things. Bring yourself back to the 5 senses. It's the way to exercise your mindfulness muscles to come back, back to this moment right now, feeling the air, feeling whatever, you know. And if you can do it in the forest, it's even better. If you can go and be, you know, there's studies out there that says that if you can walk in the forest and then stand there and not move, you're not even exercising. The stress hormones that you're creating in your body will diminish by 20 to 30%.
Whoa.
Just by standing there for a few minutes.
Wow.
So exercise is a way also to deal with, you know, all that energy that we have building up inside of us, because we were put on this planet to basically fight mammoths. Way back when there were mammoths on this planet, and your body was reacting, creating all the stress hormones to allow yourself to either fight or flight.
Yep.
Today, in 2021, there's not too many mammoths around. Okay? We create mammoths in our lives, and the body reacts. The body thinks there's a mammoth somewhere, and it's generating all these stress hormones. And if you don't evacuate these hormones, you will have, you know, consequences physically, you know, or you'll have anger outbursts towards other people and stuff.
Totally.
So you need to take that energy and expand it. What better way? Go out for a walk, brisk walk, a run, a swim, whatever, but do something with that energy so that you can get back to a healthy self. Nobody can do it for you. You know, you can go see as many people as you want. Nobody's going to get it done for you. So I link it back to all these long, you know, training hours to get to Patogonman or to another race or to anything that is a long distance and stuff. All these hours, like, you're building towards where you want to go, but you're also expanding all of that energy that would perhaps be aimed at other parts of your life that may not be as healthy, and you may become toxic to other people if you're not, you know, if you're in a high stress environment and you're not managing those hormones.
And when you're talking about this long distance races or training, dealing with stress and with the unpredictable, it's mainly one of your mainly skills, because it will happen. Shit will happen. You're in a 15-16 hour race or a 5-6 hours training. You cannot expect, if you start expecting that everything will be right, you're done. So how to react to the bad things in race or in life. I think this is the main takeaway I always take from my races, from my endurance experience, that bad things will happen. That's a fact. How we deal with it and how fast we deal with it and address it, I think is the thing that I exercise when racing and when training, that I took to my life, to my personal life. So I have a problem, how to fix it quickly, and then try to get to normal or to get back on track the fastest I can.
Yes.
Race sports.
Many people do this analogy with the sports and life, right? This is easy to understand. You don't have to be a genius to make these connections, right? The struggle you have in a 16 hours, pretty much similar, and the reaction you're gonna have towards that is gonna be similar. If you, like you said, Samir, if it's more comfortable to quit in a race, it's gonna be more comfortable to quit in life, of course, if you don't exercise that, right? So it's easy to make those connections. Amazing.
So before we get to the next question, you've probably never had this happen in a podcast. But I'm 61 years old, drank a lot of water before I started this. I need to take 30 seconds.
No problem.
Go.
So I'm right back.
No problem. Whoa, and he's back. I was telling Henrique how I loved your pain cave.
Yeah.
We were stalking. We were stalking while you left.
Yeah. You say, how many medals and those squares and the photo and your wahoo.
So, yeah, my son made that. He made me a nice Ironman rack, you know, all natural wood and stuff. He gave me that for my birthday about 5 years ago and stuff. And so Michelle has her medals on one side. I've got mine on the other side.
Nice. Is she a sport as well? Like, is she into triathlon or running? What is she up to?
So she was in that running group that I was talking about, you know, at the beginning. And from there, after I did Ironman in 2012, we got married that year because you know, after I signed up in 2011, when I came back to the office on the Tuesday morning, I told the women in the office, I said, I met this girl this weekend. I'm going to marry her.
Whoa.
and a year later, we were married.
Fou de la vie, Samir. This is the fou de la vie, man.
And I actually asked her to marry me on a swim training.
Wow.
So, you know, there's a place where we go swimming at Meech Lake. And, you know, so she got in the water and we always go around the small island. And I had told a buddy of mine, you know, I gave him a camera that goes underwater and all of this, you know, I said, okay, go hide on the island. And so he hid on the island. And I swam with Michelle and I got onto a big rock and, you know, I had the proposal all laminated so that I could, and I asked her, and she didn't like to look at the bottom of the water and the lake and stuff, you know, because of the algae and stuff. And I said, take a look, you know, and she says, no. I said, take a look. And of course I had, you know, like, will you marry me underwater? And I had the ring. I had fishing line attached to it so I wouldn't lose it. I had it inside my wetsuit. I had brought nail clippers to cut the little string.
The question, will you marry me, was in some kind of paper.
I had plastified it at the office, you know. And my buddy was out filming this and stuff. And of course, when she read that underwater, she sticks out her head out and she said, are you kidding me? You know, of course, I gave her the ring and then she swam back and she didn't want to put the ring in the water.
The ring in the water.
She swam with one hand and swam back to shore.
Despite the fact that the ring was in the water the whole time.
No, I know, but
go figure.
Yeah. So since then, you know, like she's done quite a few 70.3, and she did her first Ironman, full Ironman 3 years ago now. So yeah, so she's into those racing. That's why her bike is in the back, and she trains. And this year, like the half Ironman has been canceled in Tremblant, but. You know, she's still training and swimming. You know, like we've got a nice lake not far from here. Like she swims 3 times a week, and so we do a lot of those things together. Not everything, but you know, a lot of those the shorter distance things we do together, and then I do my long stuff together all by myself.
Nice. I don't want to take much more time from you and Henrique. So let's just to go. Walking towards the finish of our conversation, you said you are 61. You are doing those amazing things. You have a 125 kilometers ultra marathon in the future. What's next? What's left for you in terms of endurance challenges? I mean,
well, basically, you know, like I'm signed up for the ISPAMAN in 2020. Because of this year we can't travel. So and Canada Man again next year. And you know, the 12K swim across the lake here was just canceled, but I did that in 2019, but doing that again next year. And then I would love to go out and do Marathon des Sables.
Oh,
like the one that's
the
over.
252.
Yeah, so
252 kilometers, right?
It's well, it's over 7 days. So
7 days, yes.
Yeah, and so there's a guy that I met at Patogonman, a guy from Toronto, Canada, that basically has done it 3 or 4 times, and he said, Gilles, he said, you've done Patogonman, you can do Marathon des Sables. So, okay. No, of course, the pandemic kind of played with the plans and stuff, but it's something I'd say, you know what? Yeah, why not? Let's do this, And so during the pandemic, like I did the challenge here on the X-Tri, the 42,000 meter, and so I'm doing the virtual across Canada, basically from one end to the next, running and biking and stuff. So just to keep things interesting, and so that's basically it for now. But you never know what, Facebook is very, very dangerous.
You gotta stay away from it, man.
No, I know, but it's not for buying stuff. It's
I know.
Ideas of races, and there's a lot of people that that I'm staying in contact through Facebook from Patogonman. The guy, a bunch of guys from Chile and stuff. That most of it is in Spanish, but I do the Google Translate and stuff. But they're signing up all over the place and saying, enough.
Boy, these guys can get exciting, right? I mean,
yeah, exactly. So I'm almost self-barring myself from, it's like I see some, delete.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a good part of it. We get to know so many places and so many people that it's really hard to say no to it. And you are, because of what you have been doing for the past 40 years, 45 years, you are in a position that you can choose. And I think this is I think it's a huge prize for you, for your own prize, your own gift. You worked, you dedicated your life for something. Now you can dedicate it more of life back to you. That's amazing. That's amazing. Gilles, what I can even start describing what this last hour was. I need to say that my expectations were high, because I know you a little bit. I know your story. I have seen a lot of videos from you. We know each other a little bit. So my expectations were really high for this. And you blow them to the sky, because the things you said, the lessons you taught us, well, it's amazing. I cannot wait to release this, to publish, and to more people be able to listen to what you have to say. It was amazing. I'm truly.
This is a free coach session, I'd say, Samir. You should charge for this episode, I'd say.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Give you a small percentage of it.
Yeah.
I send it back to the universe.
So you said that Patogonman was a life-changing experience for you. I can say that this hour was life-changing for me. So thank you very much, man. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
More than welcome.
Samir, be ready, man. So if every conversation is going to be like that, I'm going to be in each one of them.
You'll be more of them. So thank you to you, Henrique, again. This was our first time that we were doing a podcast among 3 people. I have a blast. So I just want to thank you guys and hope to see you guys soon.
Perfect. Thank you. See you guys.
So nice meeting you.
See you.
Bye. Bye-bye.